Hello everyone, my name is Rima Bishara and today we're just going to talk about WoodUbend and what you can do with it and what it is, and answer hopefully a couple of the most pressing questions that you may have. If I don't answer questions that in this video, please do so. Write a comment and ask me and I will come back and answer. Now, this is on plastic. This is a drain thing. I don't know what it is, what it's made of exactly. But this is WoodUbend, as is this and this. So I decorated this and I just put flowers in it just for fun. Another thing you can do, so this was on kind of a plastic. This is on tin, so you can see it adheres really, really well on tin. This is on glass, so you can do glass as well. This is on wood, and that's a beautiful WoodUbend trim. And this one is mostly very unusual because I used my leftover pieces of WoodUbend that broke or that I didn't want to fix, or that I couldn't find the missing part, and I glued them onto this cardboard and made a Christmas tree out of it, rather than dump them. Another thing that most people aren't aware of is that there are sheets of WoodUbend. This is part of a sheet that I cut up, and I applied some more WoodUbend on it. And this is, I can't remember the name, but it's a sheet of WoodUbend, and it's not very thick. You cannot imprint in it, but you can cut it out when you warm it. I will explain what WoodUbend is whilst I'm heating it up. So the best thing you can do with WoodUbend, well, the things that you can do with WoodUbend in order to apply it onto your surface, you need a heat gun or a hairdryer, but the hairdryer will not do it as quickly, or you can use a griddle. So as we're heating it up, I'm going to show you how. Right now I can't bend it. Well, I've started to be able to bend it because it's warming up. It takes a couple of minutes to heat up, but it all depends on the thickness. This one is not very thick, so it will not take very long. I think this is big enough, and look at how you can bend it. Now, the other interesting thing and fun thing about WoodUbend is that you can cut it with a pair of scissors. You can also use one of these knives. You do not need to drill, you do not need to hammer, you don't need a saw. Just those two items and you're fine. Now, applying it, that's also very easy. I'm using a wood glue, a good wood glue. Typically, I would use the Titebond Quick and Thick, but today I've decided to try the wood glue from the Dollar Tree, and you spread it on. And you can put it down wherever you want, wherever your project asks, and you need to heat it. In the event that some glue comes out, that's a very easy fix. You just need a wet paintbrush or one of these things, or you can use a wet wipe. WoodUbend in its cold state is very brittle, which means it can break easily, like this. That's in its cold state. Now I'm going to show you, see, this is not going anywhere. And I also did it on here. I want to show you how easy it is, even though this is still warm. You can reuse your WoodUbend, or if you place it in the wrong place on your project, you can remove it. I glued this on. This is a piece I've used before, and I've glued it on, and it's been maybe 15 minutes or so, but it's quite glued on. And I'm going to attempt to remove it. So you would heat up your WoodUbend again. And start sliding something very thin underneath it so that you can catch it. I might have moved the camera, I apologize. So this would be my second or third time using this. And as far as what's left behind, all you need is sandpaper. And if it's already painted, you can repaint it. Now what happens if you have, sometimes WoodUbend, because it's brittle and can break easily, you might receive WoodUbend that is mishandled by the post office and it breaks. So how do you fix that? And it is fixable. And that's the beauty of WoodUbend. I would first heat them up. So these two are broken. And it's warm, and I will put some glue on the break area. And more than likely they will leak. So let me just use my earbud or whatever this is called. And heat it up again. Now, what is WoodUbend made of? WoodUbend is made of a blend of wood fibers and resin, and this mixture gives the look and feel of real wood, and you have the added benefit of flexibility when it's heated. So, see, some more glue came out. That means that they're well bonded. And I'm going to wait until they cool down to sand down, and then the joint will be as good as it was before, if not a little bit stronger. Now, can WoodUbend be used outdoors? If you decide to use this outdoors, you need to make sure that it's properly sealed with an outdoor grade paint, a sealant or varnish to protect them from moisture and weather damage. Now, when you only need to do that when it's exposed to the elements. Otherwise, depending on what paint you're using, if you're using a Posh Chalk pigment, then you do not need to seal, but we'll talk about pigments and paints on another video. For right now, I'm just waiting for this to cool down and see how it's, the longer you leave it, the more it will, the stronger the bond. But what I would typically do if this was, time permitting, I would just sand this and leave it to cool down completely. And once you paint it, which by the way, you can paint, you can stain, once you paint it, it will not show. Now, if whilst you're doing your project, glues, you have a texture on your project, that's okay. You do not have to remove the wood. The glue parts. So, as I said earlier, these are some of the items that I've just brought out to show you exactly, some of the designs that WoodUbend have. Please let me know if you have any more questions in the comments. Thank you.